It's the morning of... Sun to my eyes. It's the morning of day 7. I wasn't able to record yesterday for reasons I'll get into in a minute. I'm trying to use my microphone on my earbuds. I hope it works. So far I've had perfect weather. I've lucked out in that respect. Tomorrow it is supposed to rain, so not that heavy. Next week might be heavy, but so far perfect. It's a little cold, but perfect for hiking in that I'm layered and can stay warm. It's a little cold when I read the sutras, so I just put on a jacket, but for hiking, not having to drink a lot of water or anything like that. So far everything's going well except for my electronics. I tested out the electronics at home and they're not working here, so I had a SD card reader and it's fritzy. It will only upload for 2 minutes. So yesterday I went to buy a new SD card reader, and that required a little detour of a kilometer each way, and I bought it, took it to the inn I was staying at last night, and then it didn't work. It needs some sort of proprietary software, so it was the only one the electronics store had, and it was super expensive. It made Apple products look cheap, so I got to try to figure out how to get one to upload the videos I've been taking. It just hasn't been working. I also brought several microphones with me, and they're giving me problems as well. They all worked at home, but they're not working here. A lot of the trip that I'm taking is sort of determined by the inns I stay at. So you can't just sort of show up at an inn and hope to stay. You have to kind of at least book it the day before, and once it starts to get crowded, 2, 3, and on weekends maybe a week before. So you got to sort of figure out, where am I going to get tomorrow, or where am I going to get in 2 days? So yesterday's, 2 days ago, person told me, you can make it. So 22 miles later, I got to the inn. It was the first inn where I've actually seen other pilgrims. There's a pilgrim from Puerto Rico, and an elderly gentleman walking, and a young guy who didn't say much because he could barely walk or move and was in bad need of salon passes and blisters everywhere. But it was the first inn with a lot of people. I'm going to Bangai number 3 today, which is a 7-hour detour hike, and the people at the inn said I should get up at 5 and leave really early, so I've been on the road. It's a little after 7 now for a couple of hours, and hope to hit Bangai number 3, which is supposed to be pretty interesting today. The reason I didn't film anything last night that had good internet was because it had open roof, so each room was private, but the roof, there was no real roof, so you could hear everything in the other rooms. One of my fellow inmates must have packed every single thing in their backpack in a separate plastic bag, not like a quiet Ziploc bag, but a crumply one, and they spent 40 minutes last night crumpling away. Thankfully no one was snoring very loudly, and I got a fairly good night sleep. So today is a mini mountain stage, and then I have 2 mountains to climb, and there are not many inns on the way, so I'll probably stop at an inn after them on the way down, and hopefully the rain won't be too bad. So this may look like a school, and it once was. 16 years ago it closed down, probably because of the declining children's population in rural communities, and it's now been turned into an inn, and this is where I'm staying tonight. It's on the way to Bangai 3, and you can drop off your goods here, or your backpack here, while you walk up to the top of the mountain, which is another about 5 kilometers and a couple 100 meters up. So this is one of my favorite places I've stayed so far. It's pretty cool. This hotel that I'm staying at, or this inn that I'm staying at, has many rooms, and this happens to be my room, the Kocho room. There. Today was an interesting day walking to Bangai number 3. One of the interesting things about walking the Ohenro is I'm seeing all sorts of Japan I normally don't see. In walking through some rural communities, there are just tons of abandoned houses. Now, before I came, Eiko and I were watching a TV show in which I guess sort of the equivalent of Japanese hipsters are going and renting or staying in these houses for 0 yen. And there are literally lots of houses you could probably buy for 0 yen. So I've been passing a bunch of houses and going, I wonder what that would cost or what it would be like to live here. So there's some communities where many people are living, but maybe every 5th, every 6th, every 10th house, no one is probably living at. Had perfect weather today, and something that really interesting, I'm going to try to make the movie tonight, but I have a little bit of problem with it, is there was Ohenro Matsuri for about 10 miles of my hike. Pretty much everywhere I hiked today had Ohenro Matsuri in front of every house, every store, a gas station, all out. And there were 3 or 4 different major gatherings of Hina Matsuri. I didn't go into the halls to see them. I just walked the streets, and there was Hina Matsuri outside gas stations, outside people's houses. They were phenomenal. The most Hina Matsuri I've ever seen anywhere. To pick up something I mentioned this morning, my timing is sort of determined by inns. Tomorrow, I just try to find an inn earlier tonight, and everything is kind of booked. There's some event going on, and there was no place to stay. So I found some place, but they don't really have meals. There's no restaurant around there, but they said they would sort of like drive me to a restaurant and bring me back. I was trying to book out 3 nights of hotels because I'm going to just order from Amazon an SD card reader, an Apple one. I know they're cheaper ones, but I want one that I know will work so I can download, get my videos off my camera and onto my iPad to edit. I thought I'd be tireder from all this walking. I'm walking between 17 and 22 miles every day, and I wake up and I'm tired, but once I get up I just walk. And one of the reasons I wanted to experience this was to see what it was like just to walk all day to get somewhere. And for some reason I get kind of these euphoric walking highs. I don't know if it's kind of a running high, so it could have also been because of the weather. It was freaking fantastic weather. But all day was just kind of a fuck yeah, this is great walking around. The only real downer was Bangai number 3 is famous for these caves that Kobodaishi encased a dragon that was tormenting the people. And apparently the caves are only open from March to November based on good weather. And it opens March 1st. It opens in 6 days. Today there were some ladies sweeping all the fallen tree limbs and leaves from the place, but I couldn't get into the caves. So I will have to come back to Bangai number 3 at some point to see the caves. But it was a good day. Tomorrow is a couple of hill days, and we'll see how that goes. Oh, also one other thing, just about Ofuro. Last night at the inn, the Ofuro was a tiny little square Ofuro in which basically my knees were at my chin. And then today's Ofuro was kind of a multi-person, 10-person type of Ofuro with bubble jets, kind of completely different from yesterday. So tomorrow, looking forward to tomorrow. It's supposed to rain in the afternoon, but hopefully it won't be too bad.